Good morning. I'm back. I am back. We might just as well call this like Lydia's a corner or Lydia's random thoughts. Something like that, child. Because I'm back. It's actually the following day. Yesterday I recorded a video where I was talking about, this revelation that I had, this testimony that I had. But honestly, over the past couple of months, I've been praying for God to change my heart posture. I've been asking God to just give me a better way of dealing with situations, because clearly what I've been doing for as long as I've been paying attention to certain reactions and just coping mechanisms that I have clearly isn't working. And it's the following day. Today's the 10th of August, 2023, child. By the way, this is why I had the band-aid on yesterday, because I burned my hand while I was back home. Excuse that. uh, but it's healing. Anyway, I was literally sleeping and I was like, here, this is the thing about me. My brain is always working overtime. I always have these random thoughts, and because of that, I have 4 journals on my bedside. I have my business journal. This is where I write anything about Styled by Lydia M or any other business, ideas that pop up in my head. I have my manifestation journal, my dream journal, and then I have my Bible study journal, right? Because my brain is always working overtime. I'm always thinking about something, so I need my journals right next to me so that if I think about something while I'm sleeping, I scribble in my sleep and I'll make sense of it in the morning. So anyway, as I was literally laid up in my bed last night, I was thinking about the whole video and the topic that I tackled in the video, what I was talking about in the video basically. And it literally hit me in that moment that I was literally almost missing the lesson. I woke up and I scribbled in my journal. This is my Bible study journal. I just grabbed it randomly and I wrote down, literally, if you look at the last part, I scribbled half asleep. So you can't even make out what the heck I was writing, but I can see. So I literally said, "Dear God, I can't believe I almost missed the actual lesson. You have been using the trigger as a test of my responsiveness or reaction to the actual trigger." So like I said, this whole time I was praying for God to take the whole situation away. Like this actual thing that's always triggering me. This actual thing that's always just causing me to have these insane reactions, right? I was praying for God to take that away, but I didn't understand that all along God was actually using the actual trigger as a test to see how far along I'm coming in my faith. And in believing that, in actually believing that, or not even believing, in seeing that it's not the situation itself, but it's my reaction to the situation. So it's not a matter of him taking away the actual trigger, but me getting to a point where I'm working on myself so that the trigger doesn't have that much of an effect on me anymore. The trigger will always be there because people are people. Because it's like you praying for God to take away this situation with this specific person or group of people, but then the challenge could be presented. And this is one thing that I was thinking about, that actually I could say over the past 10 years, it was the same test coming in different forms. And I'd be in the situation, I'm praying about the person, the fact that they are triggering me with everything that they're doing, whatever. I managed to get away from that situation, but I stumble across the same problem in the next situation. So I'm just like, either with the next person or the next circumstances, situation, whatever, I find myself confronted, or being confronted rather, with the same issue and the same challenge. And I'm like, this is what I've been missing all along. I've been praying for God to take away the actual trigger, but he was using the trigger to actually catapult me to this level of growing. And so basically, it's not the issue, it's me. If I put it that way, it just sounds wrong. But what I'm saying is that I was praying for him to take away the trigger, but he was actually using the trigger as the actual tool which I can use to measure whether I'm actually making progress. You have the trigger on this side, you have Lydia on this side, and Lydia's reactions or Lydia's way of dealing with certain situations, right? The trigger has always been there. Like I said, I've reflected on the past 10 years, different situations. So the same trigger presenting itself in different forms, but I've had the same reaction because all along I was thinking, God, you need to get rid of the actual triggers and things that evoke these feelings and emotions in me. But I was doing it completely wrong, okay? Because the whole time I should have been praying for God to be changing the posture of my heart, for God to actually give me the wisdom, right? To be able to identify the fact that it's not the actual, yeah, the trigger is the problem, of course, don't get me wrong, but it's my reaction to situations. I need to deal with my emotions. I need to deal with the way that I tackle and confront issues. I was literally laying out in bed. I'm like, not me almost missing it. Like this whole time in praying and crying and complaining, I'd be like, I don't understand why this keeps happening. But it was happening because I was praying for God to change that. But he wanted me to get to a point where I realized that it's not about him taking away the situation, but like I said yesterday, it's about me getting to a point where I'm unbothered, and not unbothered in a nonchalant don't care way, but literally I'm unbothered because I have worked on myself and I'm standing firm in my growth. And the triggers and situations, similar triggers and similar situations can pop up in the future, but because I have worked on myself and now I have a system that's in place that's very effective, I'm not shaken by the triggers. Oh my goodness. Like I'm having a come to Jesus moment. But sometimes I think when you are going on this journey of self-introspection and just growth and healing, there's certain situations that, you know, when you're looking at them, it's like, duh, why didn't you perceive it in that manner to begin with? But it's like, obviously, if you're too close to a situation, that's why you have instances where a person who's close to you, like a family member, your best friend, whatever, could probably perceive or interpret the situation in that light, but you wouldn't be able to because you're too involved in it or you're too close to the situation, right? So I was literally like, duh, but it's not a duh situation. Imagine it took me almost 10 years to actually realize that all along I've been praying for God to take the test away, but it's the test that's actually going to get me to the next level. It's the test that's actually going to help me to identify and be able to gauge whether there is growth and change in me, right? Because there'll always be triggers. This is Earth, bruh. People are weird. People are weird. You always have situations that test you, but it's not about the test being taken away by God, but it's about me getting to a point in my growth journey and my healing where I'm able to be confronted by certain things and just have a different way of approaching these triggers and these situations. What does the rest of the thing say? I've been asking you to remove or get rid of the test in order for me to heal all along. But once I started changing and I started praying for you to change the posture of my heart, now I'm starting to understand the lesson. Can we just say that healing is not easy? Healing is not easy, and I think this is what I started realizing once I resumed my therapy sessions, that healing is not easy. And I think, you know, it's simple for you to just take a journal and be like, oh, let me just, you know, write down my emotions and my feelings and scribble down what I've been feeling recently or whatever, or just do the surface level work. But it's once you start doing the shadow work where you're like, damn. I never looked at the situation in that manner, but now that the rose-colored glasses have fallen off, now I'm able to actually see that in certain instances, I'm actually the problem. It's not the other person. It's not always the other person. Of course, it's not always the other person. But I think when you're operating in the ego and functioning in the ego, obviously you just like Miss Goody Two Shoes or whatever. Everyone else is the issue but you. But I think once you start doing the shadow work, that's where you start realizing that, oh, there are actually certain aspects of your personality, let's say, or just certain parts of yourself that are actually not that sweet and you need to clean them up, you know? So I don't know. I just had a moment in bed where I was just like, aha, I've been missing it all along. I reflected on so many situations. I remember having this conversation with my mom. I'm like, isn't it crazy that my past 5 jobs, I've had 5 different managers, both male and female, but I've always had the same issue with all the managers. And even in that situation, I'm realizing that it was not, obviously the managers were kind of assholes, you know, in some instance, but it's the fact that my reaction to situations that happened where these people are concerned, it was the same thing. It was the same thing. And all along I was saying, oh God, can I please just move from this job and move to the next job? I find the same situation. God, can you please move me? I moved 5 different jobs, not because of the people, but I'm saying that once I started reflecting over the past 10 years, the 5 jobs that I've had, I would be praying about the same thing, that can you just remove this person from my life because they're making me feel A, B, C, D. But what I was missing was that God was actually trying to teach me a lesson in there that I need to work on certain parts of myself. I need to start praying for healing certain parts of myself so that even in the future when I'm presented by my 6th manager, 7th manager who might have the same traits, I'm not as triggered and I don't have the same responses and reactions. Child, let me go to work. It's early in the morning, but I was just like, you know what? I'm just going to make this a habit. Whatever thoughts I have, don't care. I'm just going to record, edit, and put it up on my channel because this is me. This is me having conversations with myself 24/7. This is Lydia. I'm literally always sitting down and this is happening in my brain. 24/7. I think there's not a period where my brain is not working, even when I'm sleeping, you know? So yeah, anyway, I'm about to go to work. Have yourself an amazing day, morning, evening, wherever you are. Healing is not easy, but it's necessary. I'm proud of myself. Okay, bye. Wait a minute, I cannot. I'm actually in the process of getting ready. For work. It's just like admin days. The kids are only coming back next week. So anyway, chat. Anyway, I'm in the process of getting ready and I decided to pick up my book. If you've watched my Lydia's Diary episodes, you would actually know that I read this book. God is so funny. You would know that I read this book at the end of the episode. So anyway, I decided to pick up the book. I'm like, let me just grab it, open up to a random page and see what the message of the day is. And are you kidding me? Oh my God, wait, I'm getting ready for work. This is the message of the day today. Isn't this listen. The warrior of light has learned that God uses solitude to teach us how to live with other people. He uses rage to show us the infinite value of peace. He uses boredom to underline the importance of adventure and spontaneity. God uses silence to teach us to use words responsibly. He uses tiredness so that we can understand the value of waking up. He uses illness to underline the blessing of good health. God uses fire to teach us about water. He uses earth so that we can understand the value of air. He uses death to show us the importance of life. I'm sorry. I am so sorry. What? Not me randomly opening up to this page for the message of the day. Are you being serious? I'm stuck on the first line. The warrior of light has learned that God uses solitude to teach us how to live with other people. He uses rage to show us the infinite value of peace. I'm sorry, I'm done. Let me go get ready for work. Like, what? I am so shook. Thank you, Jesus. Bye.